Friends, how are you doing? The market is opening back up here this morning, and I thought it'd be good to talk about Sofi. Now, obviously, we're in the situation where the Fed's talk, Jerome talked, crashed the market, said some negative things, didn't like that. But it's almost, obviously, there's a way to look at that and go like, okay, well, maybe that's good. He said something because he crashed the market, and it's allowing people to reallocate funds here. Where if you took profit out, you probably have jumped back in and you're like, I'm looking to jump back in. How much further will the market sink? And since Jerome came out and said that, the whole narrative has shifted. I mean, we went from, Wednesday ago where, we had the rate cuts. Everyone was like, oh my God, the market's amazing. We're making so much money. This is never going to stop. Then Jerome came out and said some things that were not so positive. And now, since that conversation, everyone's went, maybe I should sell my whole portfolio. I think the market's way too high. He's right. Things are way overpriced. What's going on? So it's like, whoa, time out. Like, I'm noticing a trend here. I'm noticing a lot of the older dogs here in the market that are going, this is impossible. The market cannot keep running. People are insane for buying stocks right now. Even ETFs, they're saying. They're way overpriced. Now, I can look at these numbers, I can look at the math and go like, oh, totally, I get this. This makes sense. I get what they're saying. I'm not like, what are they talking about? I get it 100%. But with that too, what they're all referring to, they're talking about the AI bubble. That's what they're talking about. Or excuse me, the dot-com bubble. They're talking about the dot-com bubble, and now they're calling this the AI bubble, that this is all going to just, the market's going to sink 50%. We're going to, the S&P is going to go back to like, at least 6,000 point range, if not lower. It's like, whoa. Why are you saying that? At the end of the day, you need proof for why you're saying that. And the thing that I look at, and Sofi goes right into this conversation 100%. And because, with this conversation, when you look at that dot-com bubble, at that moment in time, you have to understand how small the market was, how small the investor cycle was. At this point in time, here in America alone, with our three major stock markets, the NASDAQ, Dow, S&P, they are filled with the most investors, biggest and best companies in the world, I might add. The United States alone has the biggest tech companies, the biggest everything. We are making so much money just in AI alone. It is insanity how much money some of these AI companies are making. So when you have people like Tom Lee come out and say, like, actually, I'm very bullish on this, and I think we're just in a super cycle right now where the S&P 500 is actually catching up to what, we're cycling up to here, what we've found ourselves into, what we're in here right now, because these companies are producing such massive quarterlies. We've actually been behind. And now that the gates have been open here with potential, we've had one rate cut. We should have two more rate cuts, we're being told, one at the end of October, one at the beginning of December. Now the market is in this thing where like, should I buy? But you're seeing a lot of the older investors go like, I'm done with this market. It is way too high. And I look at that and I go, I get it. But you have to understand, this is a different market. It is a different market. And when I look at Sofi, I go like, obviously, I do believe that there can be a shakeout, 100%, that somewhere in the future here, whether it be this year or going into next year, a shakeout where only the strongest of companies, stocks here will survive. Absolutely. That's going to happen regardless. But right now, these AI stocks, they're still beating quarterlies massively. Sofi is still beating quarterlies massively. Sofi has broke into this very specific sector that has unleashed wealth into them. And what it was a while ago when they reallocated the company business-wise, getting, starting pretty much as a loan company for students, they really pushed in to that in, open into the younger generation with opening bank accounts. They have really tapped into the younger generation and opened up so many bank accounts with them. And now this younger generation, what are they doing? What have they been doing the past 3, 4, 5, 7 years now since SoFi has really changed here coming out of the cove? They need car loans. They need business loans. They need house loans. They need credit cards. They need things like this. They need more student loans. This is why revenue is growing at an unbelievable pace in SoFi. Not to mention, SoFi is very much getting into this conversation of the crypto space. So this still is unfolding before us, where SoFi is moving into this crypto space. That's why I put this stuff up here so you can see it. There's partnerships. There's money. It is a growing, working out situation right now with SoFi, and this is why you're seeing massive potential and growth in this. This is why when we say SoFi, and I say we because I see it all over YouTube. Anybody that's looking at SoFi right now knows that if we talk even about this time next year, if the market can keep up even halfway, and I say halfway because it's moving so fast right now, there has to be a slowdown somewhere. But even halfway at this speed, and SoFi still achieving these quarterlies that it's doing on top of each other, SoFi can easily be a double the price of where it's at right now. It can be in the $60, $80 range here. Imagine when SoFi starts releasing billion-dollar quarterlies, and when they release billion-dollar quarterlies, can they continue with the next 4 quarterlies being over $1 billion too, and slowly climbing from there? This is a real conversation. This is a real situation, real conversation that leads into a lot of money for a lot of people this time next year. So even buying SoFi at this level is still in this moment of you will and can be in profit zone, with SoFi. And that's what's so special about it. That's why it's getting a lot of attention right now. Friends, obviously, a lot is riding on the Feds coming out and doing rate cuts, 100%. But two, with the Feds doing rate cuts, obviously too, we are relying on SoFi to continue to do what they've done, and they haven't let us down yet. SoFi has not come out with a stagnant quarterly lately. It has not happened. The quarterlies have been just a straight pace up. They've been amazing. I mean, we could not ask for a better past look of quarterlies with the company and future look of what can be happening here, continuing still. So I say all that to say, there's a lot of, it's like people just want to they want to take one side and go crazy with it either way. And obviously I'm very bullish in the market right now. So, I'm biased. I'm very bullish. I'm taking the Tom Lee road. But with that too, it's done well for me. I can't look at this market right now and go like, well, if the Feds don't, and politically they say there's going to be a crash and Trump's going to crash the market and all that, and it gets political real fast. I mean, it gets political with each president. So it's talking about people being extreme, either or. It's like you got to be this or you got to be that. You really don't. What you should be is an investor and look for clues. And two, there's obviously, and I'm guilty of it, there's stocks that I take chances in that I don't know that they're going to work. I really don't, but I'm trying to get in low as possible at the earliest possible rate because it looks like there could be a glimmer of light. Big Bear, a great example of that. I took a lot of risk on SoundHound last year, really paid off into this year. I mean, just unbelievable gains. And SoFi is proven to be that same thing where, I took a huge risk. But even now, obviously, there's still risk. SoFi being a bank stock, it's if the market crashes, SoFi bank stocks are going to be the first ones to take the biggest initial hit. It's just pure mathematics of the market. But with that, I really do think we're not seeing any pushback with SoFi right now. And as long as we're not seeing pushback, there's still conversation evidence to say that this is going forward into this high $30, $40 range here before we know it. And two, by Q3 is going to tell us a lot about Q4 that will be coming, at the beginning of 2026 here. What can SoFi actually get to? I'm bullish on the market right now. I'm bullish on the market. And obviously, that's not a lot of the big theme out there that you're seeing on YouTube, TikTok, with some people, with some, not all. I'm not trying to say everyone. There's still, a lot of people, obviously, that I look to for guidance and stuff like that are very bullish on the market. Dan Ives, Tom Lee. And these are people that have proven the test of time of the market, even through bad situations. They've had really good foundational outlooks of the market. And two, they're in Wall Street. They're in the middle of conversations. They're seeing companies as they are in the market, hearing about companies, all this kind of stuff, whispers. That's why I think listen to interviews, listen to people talk, other YouTube people, whatever they're doing. It's so good to just kind of get a read of where everyone's at in the market, whether they're bullish or bearish. But, if someone's bearish in the market, yeah, sure, listen to them. But this isn't the time where I'm panicking in the market. If I'm going to go forward in the market, I'm going to go forward with great stocks in, great companies. And Sofi undoubtedly is one of those companies, because Sofi has proven to push into this narrative of finding customers still at a very strong pace. Quarterly is growing at a very strong pace. I really think that we are on something very special here with Sofi. I really do mean that. One thing that I can tell you that brings a smile to my face with Sofi is that Sofi survived one of the most traumatic situations in the history of the stock market, COVID. If you went through the stock market during those years, in the COVID years, you undoubtedly saw crazy crashes, crazy things. Sofi just came to market, boom, COVID happened. And then on top of that, then they canceled student loans. They paused student loans. That was Sofi's bread and butter. Sofi survived that. If Sofi can survive the two big elements like that, and plus two, just their overall stock crashing from $20 to like $3 at one point, and now built back up into this monstrous new company, still very much in baby legs. I think it'll do well surviving whatever else is coming here. So really think about that too, what could happen here with Sofi. It's proven the test of time. And, for us as investors, like, listen, whatever's coming here, if there's a crash coming or a reset, I think a lot of us that have been in the market here for a few seasons, we're going, okay, some of us have been here through a lot worse in the market here. Okay, real issues in the market, real financial situations mathematically that could destroy companies where they're not making quarterly. So I'm totally fine with what's going on here. I feel very positive that Sofi is going to continue to push into 2026 at a very aggressive rate here. So friends, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye, everyone.